the slide?
Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. Gravity, of course.
Can you explain gravity?
Sure. Gravity is, well, it's like, I know what it is, but I can't explain it. You explain it, Kevin.
I don't know. It's hard to explain. But I heard they call the soapbox derby Gravity Grand Prix.
The Gravity Grand Prix? Where'd they come up with that?
I guess we're gonna have to go talk to our resident soapbox derby expert. Alex knows everything we don't know. Hey, Alex.
Hey, well, if it isn't the neighborhood chapter of the Alex Admiration Society. Oh, with a new member in tow.
This is Kevin, one of his friends from school. Say, Alex, they're having a hard time explaining gravity to me, but Kevin told us that the soapbox derby race is sometimes called the Gravity Grand Prix. Why?
I tell you what, hop in my ride for a minute.
Okay, what should we do?
See that lever under the dash?
This one?
Yeah, pull it and turn it. Watch what happens.
Car's moving, what should I do?
Just put your foot on the brake and pull the lever again to reset the emergency brake. You've just learned a graphic lesson in gravity.
We've seen it, but what is it?
Well, it all started when Sir Isaac Newton wondered why apples fell to the earth. He realized that actually apples were attracted to the earth by some unseen force, which he later named gravity. Another idea he had was that every object in the universe was attracted to every other object in the universe.
Apparently, Isaac Newton was smarter than us three.
He was brilliant. In fact, he worked it all out mathematically and called it Newton's law of gravitation.
So, when I released the parking brake, the Earth was suddenly attracted to the car, pulling it closer?
That's right.
So it sounds like the Earth's gravitational pull attracts soapbox derby cars and pulls them down the hill toward the finish line.
Truly, the Gravity Grand Prix. The cars don't have engines, they just rely on gravity. Let's look at an example.
Man, I can't wait till that's me flying down the hill at Derby Downs.
Just a few more weeks to go. Hey, I bet your teacher can help you learn a lot more fun facts about gravity.
I would say my participation in the soapbox derby not only did it enhance my understanding, but it kind of fostered an appreciation and an interest in science and mathematics. And as a result, I always really enjoyed studying science and math. I took a lot of science and math classes in high school. Then I went on to be an engineer. I studied electrical engineering in college, and of course, math and science is the key ingredient of engineering. So honestly, my interest in math and science started back when I was 11 years old when I first started racing soapbox derby. It really kind of got me started. And the thing about engineering, for example, is engineering is pretty much applied science. It's using the theories and the ideas that you learn in a textbook, applying them to real life. And that's exactly what the soapbox derby is. It's applied science. You're using your math, your physics, other elements of science, tooling, machinery, and you're applying it to a real life situation.
In my engineering class at the university, we're building a high-mileage car that sometimes relies on gravity.
What's gravity got to do with gas mileage?
Here's how. We compete against several other colleges and universities in a contest. During that competition, we rely on gravity to help us when we come to hills. To improve our overall mileage, we'll turn off the engine and coast down hills. Last year, our school's car got more than 600 miles to the gallon. This year, we hope to do better than that. And coasting down hills isn't the only way we can get that kind of mileage. We also make sure our tires are properly inflated so that there's less drag to let gravity really do its thing. So dudes, now that you see why gravity plays such a big role in the soapbox derby, why don't you tell us about other things in nature where gravity plays a role?
I was out with Mom last week and we saw a waterfall. It was a huge amount of water dumping into a gorge.
I was watching a TV show the other day about skydiving. The people who jump out of an airplane and free fall for several minutes before opening their parachutes. They must have really been feeling Earth's gravitational pull. I think they jumped out of the plane at around 5,000 feet.
That gravitational pull causes something known as G-force. You've probably seen NASA movies about how G-forces affect astronauts when they go through their training.
Yeah, that's when their faces get all wrinkled.
So what activities allow people to escape gravity?
It's when those astronauts go into orbit.
That's it. Astronauts experience weightlessness when they're far away enough from the Earth's gravitational pull that it has less of an effect on their bodies. The only other people that can experience this weightlessness are scuba divers.
Sometimes, in hills and mountains, gravity will cause rock slides, and during the winter, even avalanches.
And gravity causes rain and snow to drop from the clouds to the Earth. What other activity allows people to escape Earth's gravity momentarily?
You mean besides scuba diving and flying in space? Jumping on a trampoline. When you do that, you're propelled upward and escape gravity for a split second. But then you're instantly pulled back down to the mat by gravity.
The other day, I had a bad experience with gravity.
How?
Well, I was rollerblading, lost my balance, fell, and skinned my knee on the sidewalk.
Hey, that's not what you told Mom and Dad about your knee.
So, what do you guys think of Sir Isaac's attractive discovery?
Who would have thought an apple falling out of a tree would be so important? Well, I'm just glad it works. Without gravity, we'd just be floating all over the place.
Not only that, but we lose all the water in our oceans, lakes, rivers, and streams. A world without gravity would be like a ballpark hot dog without stadium mustard. Incomplete.
Come on, Kevin, Bridget, let's take my car out and give it a gravity test. Yeah, you're gonna need all the practice you can get.
I'd say the best part about soapbox derbying is the family relationship it fosters. I mean, there's a lot of other positives. As I mentioned, you learn a great deal about math and science and competition. But derby is really a family-oriented event. It's a great opportunity for family members to bond because everyone plays a role in soapbox derby, not just the actual participant, but you know, your parents who help you build the car, and as you travel around to the different races, you need people to handle your car, or to keep time for you, or when you're practicing to keep time for you. Do everything to keep track of heat and lane results. So literally everyone gets involved, and you can just look around here at Akron, just how many families are here, and it really fosters a family relationship. So I think that's the best part. There's a lot of positives, but that's probably the best part.